This is Armand. He was born far from palaces and polished marble floors, in a modest riverside town where wisdom was measured not by how loudly you spoke, but by how well you listened. Armand grew up watching his father work with his hands and his mother work with patience. Neither of them were celebrated, neither were admired publicly, but they survived storms others didn't, and Armand learned early that there was a difference between being impressive and being effective. He carried that lesson with him when he left home, climbing slowly through the ranks of a distant kingdom's court, never rushing, never demanding attention. He watched men burn bright and disappear just as fast. He stayed. Eventually, the king noticed. By the time Armand became the chief minister, his reputation was unusual. He was not charismatic. He was not theatrical. He did not dominate rooms. But when he spoke, decisions stopped wobbling. Wars were avoided. Resources were conserved. The kingdom prospered quietly without spectacle. And that quiet competence bred resentment. Other advisors whispered that Armand was overrated, that the king relied on him too much, that surely a man so calm must be hiding incompetence behind restraint. Armand heard the whispers. He did nothing. He understood something most people learn too late. Wisdom doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself only to those who know what to look for. What surprised him was when that scrutiny extended to his son. The boy, Lucien Valerius, was observant, gentle, and deliberately unremarkable. He asked few questions in public. He spoke only when spoken to. And every morning, when the king walked among the people to appear close to them, Lucien stood quietly at the edge of the square. The king, amused by the minister's son, asked him the same question each day. Which is more valuable, gold or silver? And every day Lucien answered silver. Laughter followed like clockwork. Courtiers smirked. Guards exchanged glances. The story spread through the palace as proof that even the wisest men could raise foolish children. When the king finally confronted Armand about it, the minister felt a rare sensation, not anger, not shame, but curiosity. But at home, when Armand asked his son the same question, Lucien answered without hesitation. Gold. That was when Armand understood that the lesson unfolding before him was larger than reputation, larger than pride, larger even than wisdom as the world defines it. When Lucien showed him the box of silver coins earned one mockery at a time, Armand realized his son was practicing a discipline most adults never master, the discipline of letting others be wrong about you. From that day forward, Armand watched the world differently. He saw how often intelligence was confused with performance, how frequently people mistook noise for knowledge and confidence for competence, and he understood that the kingdom, like most of life, rewarded those who could wait. Being wise and being seen as wise are not the same thing. This is a truth that unsettles people, because most of us are taught to equate value with recognition. We want our intelligence acknowledged. We want our decisions validated. We want the world to nod approvingly so we can feel secure in our choices. But wisdom rarely receives applause in real time. More often it attracts doubt, suspicion, ridicule. The calm person is questioned. The quiet planner is underestimated. The one who doesn't rush to explain is labeled slow. And if you measure your worth by immediate reaction, you will abandon wisdom long before it has a chance to work. True wisdom is internal alignment. It is knowing why you are doing something even when no one else understands it. It is staying composed while others project their confusion onto you. It is the ability to delay gratification without becoming bitter, to accept misunderstanding without becoming defensive. Most people react to being doubted by overcorrecting. They talk more, explain more, prove more. They exhaust themselves trying to control perception, but the wisest people understand a quieter truth. Perception is temporary. Outcomes are permanent. Success does not come from applause. Applause is fleeting. It rises quickly and fades even faster. Success comes from patience, from consistency, from choosing the right action at the right time, even if that choice looks unimpressive in the moment. Lucien understood that if he revealed his intelligence too soon, the game would end, and with it the steady accumulation of value. He chose the long road over the obvious one, and that choice is where wisdom lives. There is a moment in life when you realize that being underestimated can be an advantage. When expectations are low, pressure decreases. When no one is watching closely, you are free to build quietly, free to learn, free to prepare. Many people sabotage themselves by insisting on being seen. They reveal every plan before it's ready. They announce every intention before it's formed, and when something fails, they are not only disappointed, they are embarrassed. Wisdom protects itself by staying private until it's mature enough to stand on its own. And somewhere here, I want to slow the pace deliberately. If you're listening to this and feeling a sense of recognition, that's not accidental. Maybe you've been doubted, maybe you've been laughed at, maybe you've made choices others didn't understand and felt the pressure to justify yourself. This moment is not here to rush you into action. It's here to remind you that you are not required to perform your intelligence for an audience. If reflections like this resonate with you, staying connected to this space matters more than it might seem. Not because of numbers, not because of visibility, but because repetition shapes perspective. When you choose to support content that values patience over performance, depth over noise, you are curating your mental environment. You are choosing what ideas echo in your mind when you're alone with your decisions. There's no urgency here, no demand, just an open invitation to remain in conversations that reward restraint and long-term thinking. If that feels valuable, staying connected is a quiet vote for the kind of mindset that outlasts trends and opinions. The world often celebrates those who move fast, but it depends on those who move correctly. History is filled with people who were ignored until they were indispensable, mocked until they were undeniable, quiet until their results made noise on their behalf, and the pattern is always the same. While others chased attention, they invested in foundations. Wisdom does not compete, it compounds. The mistake many people make is assuming that silence equals weakness. In reality, silence is often a sign of calculation, of patience, of someone who understands that not every moment requires a response. Lucian didn't argue with the king, he didn't correct the court, he didn't feel the need to clarify, he allowed misunderstanding to work in his favor, and in doing so, he practiced something rare, emotional discipline. In real life, you will meet two kinds of people, those who talk constantly about what they will do, and those who are quietly doing it. The first group seeks validation, the second group seeks results. Wisdom aligns you with the second group. It teaches you that timing matters, that revealing everything at once can be wasteful, that sometimes the best move is to appear harmless while you build strength. That calm is not passivity, it is control. There's a deep confidence that comes from knowing your direction so clearly that outside noise becomes irrelevant. That confidence does not shout, it does not argue, it does not defend itself against every accusation. It waits. People may laugh, let them. Laughter fades, outcomes remain. People may doubt you, let them. Doubt does not alter reality, only action does. People may misunderstand you, let them. Understanding is not required for effectiveness. The minister understood this when he chose silence over pride. He could have explained his son's reasoning. He could have demanded respect. Instead, he smiled and walked away. Because wisdom recognizes when explanation is unnecessary. Most of the time, those who mock are not curious. They are insecure. They need contrast to feel superior. And engaging them only feeds the cycle. The wise conserve energy. There will come a moment when results surface, when the quiet work becomes visible, when the accumulated silver outweighs the single piece of gold, and when that moment arrives, it will speak more clearly than any defense you could have offered. Until then, patience is not waiting, it is working without applause. If you know what you are doing is right, stay with it. Do not rush to be understood. Do not sacrifice long-term benefit for short-term approval. Do not confuse silence with stagnation. Wisdom is often invisible while it's forming, but it leaves unmistakable traces once it's complete. And one day when the laughter stops and the results are undeniable, you won't need to explain anything at all.